The operating manual is complete. No one has run the process from start to finish. It records assumptions instead of tested decisions and friction. You wrote the manual before you tried it. The hidden mechanism is assumption binding. A plausible step is formatted like a settled rule. Keep watching, because one live run can show you what deserves to stay. This is how it happens. You ask AI for a simple procedure. The first page looks useful, so you ask for roles, checklists, exception tables, escalation paths, and policies. In minutes, one repeatable task has an entire operating system. The language is clean. The headings line up. Every edge case has a box. The binder gets thicker before the work gets clearer. Then the first real request arrives. The input is incomplete. 2 steps occur in the opposite order. One decision depends on context nobody wrote down. The manual does not fail because documentation is foolish. It fails because coherence arrived before observation. AI can generate a plausible sequence from the description you give it. It can organize the steps, make the tone consistent, and propose exceptions you may want to consider. Those are useful capabilities. But it does not stand beside you during the first handoff unless you give it that evidence. It does not see the missing file, the judgment call, the unofficial workaround, or the moment a person has to stop and ask what the request actually means. Formatting converts a possibility into something that looks settled. The first imagined step supports a checklist. The checklist supports a policy. The policy creates a training note. Now, changing the original assumption requires repairing 4 documents. That is assumption binding. A guess enters as a draft, then dependent pages make it feel expensive to question. The answer is not to reject documentation or distrust every generated suggestion. It is to label what you know. A mandatory constraint is not a guess. A tested observation is not a guess. But a smooth paragraph about work nobody has performed is still a hypothesis, however professional it sounds. Imagine a client intake process. The handbook says the brief arrives first, approval follows, and production begins. On the live run, the client sends assets before the brief, approval comes from 2 people, and 1 missing permission blocks the handoff. Now the operator must choose between the document and the work in front of them. If they follow the page, the request stalls. If they improvise, the official checklist becomes less credible. The next person cannot tell which rule is required and which rule was merely imagined. The handbook becomes costly to trust before the process becomes stable enough to describe. One run will not review every future case, but without even one safe life or representative run, the document has not yet met the friction it claims to organize. Use a smaller system, run then record. First, make a run card. Write the trigger, the intended visible result, the known non-negotiable constraints, and the person performing the run. Keep it short enough that it can guide observation without pretending to describe every move. Second, complete one safe life or representative instance from trigger to result. Mark the actual sequence. Circle every decision that required judgment. Record the exception that appeared, the input that was missing, and the handoff that created friction. Third, write the procedure from that evidence. Keep what occurred or what an explicit requirement demands. Label the remaining guesses as hypotheses for another run. Run then record completes one live instance and documents only the decisions, exceptions, and friction actually observed. If you already have an oversized handbook, do not rewrite it from the beginning. Reduce it to one run card. Perform the process. Compare the pages with what happened. Keep confirmed steps, add observed judgment, and move imagined branches into a clearly labeled review list. Run the work. Then record the evidence. Higher risk processes may require formal simulations, multiple operators, control environments, legal or safety review, and domain-specific validation before use. This system does not replace those standards. It prevents an ordinary plausible draft from quietly claiming evidence it does not have. Picture the second run. The operator begins with one page. The trigger is clear. A missing input appears, so they mark it. One judgment call stops the handoff, so they record who decides and what evidence that person needs. the result becomes visible. Only then does AI help turn the notes into a concise checklist. Now the procedure is smaller, but it knows more. It does not claim every exception has been discovered. It distinguishes confirmed steps, mandatory constraints, and open hypotheses. The next operator can follow it, challenge it, and improve it with another observed run. That is the capability to build in the AI age, not producing the most complete handbook first, but making real work legible without turning guesses into rules. Open the procedure you trust most. Choose one safe instance. Run it from trigger to result, and mark the first place reality disagrees with the page.